Have you ever said something, maybe just a little joke or an opinion, and then immediately thought, oh, I hope nobody took that the wrong way? It's a feeling I think many of us have had, especially these days. This idea of being canceled is everywhere. It's on our phones, it's on the news, and it's in our conversations. It seems like one wrong move, one old tweet from a decade ago, or one misspoken word can suddenly lead to a massive public outcry. It's a powerful force in our world today, and it's something that deserves a closer look, a real conversation. So let's talk about it. Welcome to English Smarties, the place where you practice your English listening skills with captivating topics. Today, we are diving into a subject that is as complex as it is common cancel culture. We're going to explore what it means, who it affects, and try to understand it from all angles. This isn't about picking a side right away, it's about being open, listening to different perspectives, and learning together. Let's start by looking at the positive side, because there's a reason this all started. At its heart, many people see cancel culture as a form of public accountability. For a very long time, people in positions of power, celebrities, politicians, CEOs, could say or do harmful things with very few consequences. They were protected by their status, their money, or their influence. Cancel culture, in this view, is a way for ordinary people to finally push back. It's a way for the public to say, we don't accept this behavior anymore. Think about it this way. It gives a voice to marginalized communities. For years, groups have spoken out against racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination, but their voices were often ignored by traditional media or those in charge. Social media changed that. Now, a call for accountability can spread like wildfire, forcing everyone to pay attention. This movement has led to some tangible, positive changes in our society. It has forced companies to reconsider their advertising, media networks to fire individuals who have histories of abuse, and public figures to think more carefully about the impact of their words. It shines a bright light on issues that might have otherwise been swept under the rug. The message is that certain values like kindness, respect, and equality are not negotiable. This pressure can help create safer and more inclusive spaces for everyone. It's a modern tool for social justice. Now, just like with anything, there's another side to this story. While holding people accountable is important, many worry that cancel culture has become too harsh and unforgiving. Sometimes the punishment seems to far outweigh the crime. A person might make a mistake, say something clumsy or ignorant, and instead of being given a chance to learn and grow, they are immediately cast out. The online world can move so fast that there is no room for context, nuance, or a sincere apology. It can feel less like a call for accountability and more like a rush to judgment. This leads to a big concern about free speech. If people are terrified of saying the wrong thing, will they stop saying anything at all? Important conversations require us to explore difficult ideas, and sometimes people will get it wrong along the way. If the fear of being canceled is too great, it can create a chilling effect where people are afraid to ask questions, share their true opinions, or even make jokes. Furthermore, there is the question of redemption. Do we believe that people can change? Cancel culture, at its worst, seems to say no. It can dig up something someone said 10 or 15 years ago when they were a different person and use it to destroy their life today. Ultimately, this can turn into a form of online bullying. A massive group of people, sometimes thousands or even millions, can target one individual, flooding their life with hate and threats. This can have devastating effects on someone's mental health, their family, and their ability to make a living, even if their original mistake was relatively minor. You really can't talk about cancel culture without talking about social media. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are the engines that make it all happen. In the past, if you were upset about something a public figure said, your options were limited. You could write a letter to a newspaper, maybe call a television station, but your voice was just one among many. Today, a single tweet or a short video can be seen by millions of people in a matter of hours. Social media acts as a giant megaphone, amplifying outrage and turning a local complaint into a global news story. This speed and reach are what make modern cancel culture so incredibly powerful. There's no time for a traditional investigation or a thoughtful response. The algorithms on these platforms are designed to show us content that gets a lot of engagement, and nothing gets more engagement than outrage. This creates a cycle where the most extreme voices often get heard the loudest. Moreover, social media creates a sense of collective action that feels empowering. When you join in on a cancellation, you feel like you are part of a large, important movement for justice. However, this can also create a disconnect from the real-world consequences. It's easy to forget that on the other end of that screen is a real person whose life is being turned upside down. The digital world can sometimes feel like a game, but the impact on people's lives, their jobs, and their families is very, very real. This digital environment also makes it difficult to have a real dialogue. Social media is built for short, punchy statements, not for long, nuanced conversations. When you only have 280 characters to make your point, it's hard to express complex ideas or show that you understand both sides of an issue. Instead, conversations often break down into two opposing camps, with each side shouting at the other. Social media is the perfect vehicle for spreading outrage, but it's not always the best place for finding solutions. The consequences of being canceled are not just digital, they are incredibly real and can be life-altering. The most immediate and obvious effect is often on a person's career. We have seen celebrities dropped by their sponsors, actors fired from movie roles, and authors having their book deals pulled. For people whose entire livelihood depends on their public image, a widespread public backlash can be financially devastating. A lifetime of work and building a reputation can be undone in a matter of days or even hours, but it's not just famous people who are affected. Everyday people can get caught in the crossfire as well. A person might be filmed in a viral video, or an old social media post from their college days might resurface, and suddenly their employer is bombarded with demands to fire them. These companies, often afraid of a public relations nightmare, may decide it's easier to let the employee go than to deal with the online mob. This means that a single mistake, or even a misunderstanding, can lead to someone losing their job, their income, and their ability to support their family. Beyond the professional consequences, the personal toll can be immense. Imagine waking up one morning to find that thousands of strangers online hate you. Your phone is flooded with hateful messages. Your personal information might even be shared publicly, a dangerous practice known as doxing. This can lead to severe anxiety, depression, and a feeling of complete isolation. The mental health impact of being the target of a massive online campaign cannot be overstated. It is a deeply traumatic experience that can leave lasting scars long after the online world has moved on to its next target. This raises a serious question about proportionality. Is losing your entire career and your peace of mind a fair punishment for telling an offensive joke or having an unpopular opinion? The fallout of a cancellation can be permanent, leaving little room for a person to recover, make amends, or be seen as anything other than their worst mistake. The digital footprint is long, but our capacity for forgiveness seems to be getting shorter. So, what kind of behavior actually gets someone canceled? The list is long and seems to be constantly changing, which is part of what makes this topic so confusing for so many people. The most clear-cut cases usually involve serious wrongdoing. This includes things like credible accusations of assault or harassment, or a pattern of racist, sexist, or homophobic behavior. In these situations, many people see a call for cancellation not as an overreaction, but as a necessary consequence for causing real harm and a way to protect potential future victims. However, the lines get much blurrier from there. A person can also be targeted for expressing an opinion that goes against the mainstream view on a sensitive social or political issue. What one person sees as a valid point in a debate, another might see as harmful and problematic. This is where the conflict with free speech becomes most apparent. If we cancel everyone who has a different opinion from our own, we risk creating echo chambers where we only hear ideas we already agree with. Then there's the issue of past mistakes. The internet never forgets. An old tweet, a joke from a stand-up routine a decade ago, or a photo from a college party can resurface at any time. The person may have grown and changed significantly since then, but in the court of public opinion, that often doesn't matter. The context of the time is often ignored, and the person is judged by today's standards. This lack of nuance means that people are not allowed to evolve. It creates a gotcha culture where the goal is to find something, anything, from someone's past to use against them in the present. Ultimately, there is no official rulebook for what is cancel-worthy. It's decided in real time by the collective mood of the internet. This can be very subjective and can change from one day to the next. This unpredictability is what makes many people feel like they are walking on eggshells, unsure of what the invisible lines are until someone has crossed them. So, after looking at all these different angles, we come back to our big question. Is cancel culture helping or hurting? As you can see, the answer isn't a simple yes or no, it's both. It has been a powerful tool for holding people accountable and giving a voice to those who have been ignored for too long. It has forced important conversations about respect, equality, and justice into the spotlight. In many ways, it has pushed our society to be better and more conscious of the impact of our words and actions. We can't ignore the positive changes it has brought about. At the same time, we have to be honest about its darker side. It can be unforgiving, disproportionate, and quick to condemn without all the facts. It can silence important discussions, create a culture of fear, and leave no room for human error or personal growth. Finding the balance between holding people responsible and showing grace and understanding is one of the biggest challenges of our digital age. Perhaps the path forward isn't about choosing to be for or against cancel culture as a whole. Maybe it's about being more mindful in how we participate in these conversations. It's about pausing before we share that angry post, asking for more context before we rush to judgment, and remembering that there is a human being at the center of every online storm. It's about promoting a culture that values both accountability and redemption. We can demand better from our public figures while also allowing for the possibility that people can learn from their mistakes and change for the better. Now, I want to turn the conversation over to you. We've talked a lot about the good and the bad, the complexities and the consequences. So, my question for you is this. Where do you think we should draw the line between holding someone accountable for their actions and allowing them the chance to apologize and be forgiven? Think about it. What does a healthy, balanced approach look like to you? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really interested to hear what you think. If you found this video helpful, be sure to come back for more, and remember, stay curious.